Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Bust channel, Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host Terry, and today I'm doing another mock draft game update. We are 5 rounds in, so again, real quick for people that haven't seen the past episodes, I would suggest that you go back and watch them, but I'm part of a website forum that does an annual mock draft game. I'm representing the Bears as well as some other teams, but mainly the Bears, and just kind of updating you on what picks I made for the team. So again, we're operating within this year, so no future picks, no trading players, blah blah blah. It's just picks for this year for any trades, and it's operating as of the beginning of the game. So for example, like Cam Meredith is now with the Saints, but when the game started, he wasn't. So we kind of operate off that assumption, what have you. So those are the kind of few rules. But anyway, so we're 5 rounds deep. And I did a quick video last time talking about my first 4th round pick, which was Tre'quan Smith. So I'll just kind of start in the 4th round and go back for there. So the first pick in the 4th round, I stayed at the Bears spot, and I got Tre'quan Smith, the receiver out of UCF. Again, whether we kept Cam or not, I thought that was the right move to bring in another young receiver that could potentially be an outside receiver, not just a slot. And I like Tre'quan. I think he's really underrated. This was a breakout season for him, and I think he's got a lot of tools that'll help him develop into some pretty good. And then with my next 4th round pick, our extra 4th round, I actually traded back with the Patriots, I believe. I got their 4th round pick, which is towards the end of the draft. And then I got their 6th and 7th round pick. So 4, 6, 7 to move pretty far back. But I really just felt like the players I wanted to target would still be there at that pick, and the guys I wanted to pick at that time in the draft, it just felt a little high. So I figured if I get some extra capital, then it would work out. And plus, I traded our 6th round pick earlier when I traded up in the 2nd round. So I regained a 6th round pick, got an extra 7th round pick, and moved back. So felt like a good trade to me. Then I did some wheeling and dealing, and I actually traded that 6 and 7 that I got from the Patriots, and I traded it to the Giants to get their 5th round pick, which is number 2 in the round overall for the 5th round. So of course we're picking at the 8th spot for the Bears in the 5th round, but I also got the extra 5th round at the top of the 5th. So it ended up working out pretty well, actually, because there were some targets I wanted. So anyway, the people I got for the end of the 4th round, I got Andrew Brown out of Virginia, and I want to play him as one of our DNs. So Andrew Brown played kind of all over the place for Virginia. DN, interior, stand-up linebacker. I think most people see him as a 3-tech in the NFL, but I also think that he's right under 300 pounds, 6'4". I think he could put on some more weight similar to Bullard and really play that 3-4 DN. I don't think he's necessarily a run stuffer, but I do think with his get off and quickness and the ability to play around with some stunts and blitzes, he'll be pretty effective as the DN. And even though we don't have Mitch Unrein, we will get veterans, we'll get people in there, but you can never have too many bodies, especially with the Bears. We know how it is with injuries. So I felt we definitely wanted to get another interior lineman. I think working with Hicks and even Bullard himself is going to help Andrew Brown. At the Senior Bowl, he really stood out, really showed that he was built to play inside on the interior. While he has some power issues, I think his athleticism is really high, and I think he's got the body frame to really build and put some power on. So I ended up getting him at the end of the 4th. Then in the 5th round for the first 5th round pick, I picked up Jaleel Scott, wide receiver out of New Mexico State. Now, Jaleel is a guy like also that's under the radar. He is 6'5", about, 200 plus pounds, and he's got a big frame. I think he's got some good explosion and ball skills. And that's one of the things that really caught my eye, besides the numbers of being able to explode. I just think he really understood his timing and how to track the ball when he goes up to get it. And so, while some guys are athletic, they don't necessarily have that timing to really, win those 50-50 balls. And I thought, Jaleel did a really good job at that. And then, of course, you add on to the frame that he has, there's a lot of potential for him to be pretty good. And he played inside out, a lot of stuff in the slot, also on the outside. I think he'll be ripe to be a red zone target early on. But I also think that eventually you can mold him for outside position. He does remind me a little bit of Allen Robinson, to be honest with you. So coincidence, but, I think adding him, and I think, again, whether we kept Kim or not, I think adding multiple receivers should be the plan, as we really try to take the receiving core in a new direction and kind of have some young guys that we could take chances on and, see if they can develop into something for us. So, took Jaleel Scott with our first 5th round pick. And then the next 5th round pick which is the Bears 8th spot. I took Duke Dawson, cornerback out of Florida. Duke Dawson played inside out. Some people or a lot of people project him as a slot corner, but I think he's got explosion and ball skills that, even though he's 5'10", I think could help him play on the outside. You got guys that are shorter, but can make up for it with their explosion. So I think he can be one of those guys. He's real tough nose in the slot. I think, with Bryce Callahan coming back, of course, that's his spot. But should injuries happen or should we end up moving on, I think Duke provides some depth at the position, which we definitely need. But I also think he could potentially project as an outside corner if we are able to work with him and develop his skills. So those are the picks. So far we're through 5 rounds. Again, as I said, our picks or that I got is Tremaine Edmonds in the 1st round. Traded up a few spots and got Will Hernandez as a guard in the 2nd round. Didn't have a 3rd round pick. 4th round got tre'quan Smith and Andrew Brown. 5th round I got Duke Dawson and Jaleel Scott. So yeah, go to the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about those picks so far. Thumbs up, subscribe, share it around to get the conversation started. And remember, stay up and bear down.